right, so check it out. The static pressure is so high on this system that I have this large C-clamp holding the filter down. If I don't, what happens is when it turns on, this filter goes and sucks right up against there and all the air bypasses the filter.
This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition.
Well, here we are. I am at my own house and I have some comfort complaints. We're going to see what we can do about these comfort complaints. My comfort complaints aren't that my air conditioner doesn't work. My air conditioner works, but can you hear that sound? It's extremely loud. I have a central return system, and my assumption is that I have a massively oversized system. Okay? I've lived in this house for about 8 years, and I knew that this thing should not be this loud, right? I knew that it seems like it's oversized because what happens is it turns on, it runs for a short period of time, turns off, then it turns on again after a short while, runs for a short period of time, then it turns off. So we get a lot of short cycling, or I don't know if you'd necessarily call it short cycling, but cycle times are way too high, all right? There's all kinds of problems with my system. We're gonna go through it right now. We're gonna talk about it, okay? Again, I moved into this house with this system already installed, and I knew it wasn't right, but I've always tolerated it, okay? Missing some insulation on the suction line, all right? Look at how choice that is. I'm not a genius. There we go, it already cycled off. But they just literally have a transition coming out the top of the of the cased coil going to a round. That's not very smooth. I imagine that's causing a rather large pressure drop, okay? This is a 4-ton system. You look right here, 48. If I go in here, maybe you guys can see a little bit better. All right, this is an Arco Air system supplied by a local supply house. I'm sure it was purchased at United Refrigeration, who pushes all the Arco Air stuff. I have nothing against Arco Air. It's worked, it's functioned. Now, I've had a few small repairs I've had to make on this system, such as changing a capacitor, changing a blower motor. Speaking of that, let's go down here and have a look at this blower motor. Let me get this cover off and I'm going to show you guys my awesome filter setup. All right, so check it out. The static pressure is so high on this system that I have this large C-clamp holding the filter down. If I don't, what happens is when it turns on, this filter goes and sucks right up against there and all the air bypasses the filter, okay? Now, don't judge me because I have this guy right here. This was more or less an experiment. Notice that it's turned off. It's actually not even doing anything. Don't really believe in these things very much, okay? It was more of an experiment to see if I noticed anything, and it hasn't been functioning. I can literally turn it on and it'll function, but also notice that I have this guy right here. So when I was, this is a circuit breaker, right? 5-amp circuit breaker. When I was installing my thermostat, silly me, I forgot to turn the unit off and I shorted out the fuse, and I couldn't find a 5-amp fuse in my van, so I went and grabbed this 5-amp circuit breaker. Still protects it just fine, but regardless, we're gonna go through this. But I want you guys to see that, you know, I am not perfect. I'm busy, I work a lot, and I don't put a lot of thought into my own system. It's pretty messed up looking, right? Okay, so let's have some more inspections here. Look at this gas valve. I don't think that's quite correct. Just kind of wallowed out a hole there. That's always made me laugh. Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, so we have a, in order to get this filter out, you got to kind of bend it, smush it. One-handed is a little tough. All right, get that out. Let's see. I have animals. Oh man, it looks like it's time to change it too. I have animals and a bunch, I don't know if you guys can see that. I have a blonde-haired wife and 2 blonde-haired daughters, and it seems like all their hair is stuck inside this filter. So it's about time to change this guy. And look at this, my little buddy Luke right here. What's up, buddy? Come say hi to everybody. Yeah, this is my buddy Luke. He is a, for those that want to know, he's a silver Labrador Retriever. He's about a year old. So let's look down in here. Nice and dirty down in the return cavity. Don't think it's sealed very much at all. So these are all things that we are going to be addressing in the eventual replacement of my system. Okay, we are going to be replacing this entire system, and we are going to be doing the best that we can within reason to do it right. Okay, I want to go as much as I can. I am not an expert in the subject, but I want to go all home performance on this. Okay, we are going to be evaluating the envelope of the house and deciding what things we can do to fix the envelope issues. Okay. Again, little things that I want to notice. It doesn't look like this is sealed down very much at all. No, because I just move it, you know. So I'm sure we have all kinds of air leakage under here. These are all things that I want to address. So I'm going to go ahead and put the filter back in because I want to test in on my system as it stands. All right, so I've already addressed the fact that it's an extremely loud system, okay? A single return. We are going to do a proper load calculation on this house, and I suspect that this system is going to be oversized. That is a 4-ton system. I live in about an 1,800 square foot or 1,850 square foot home, okay? I don't think we quite need that much. I do live in Southern California. We have a rather large heat load. I think my design temperature is about 97 degrees. More than likely, if I had to guess, it's probably pushing that outside right now. I would imagine it's a little bit higher than 97 today. Okay, so again, my air conditioner keeps my house cool, okay, but I notice the cycle times are really high. I notice that we have some comfort issues in certain rooms. I should take that back. I have comfort issues. Let's address the fact that my family is not complaining at all, okay? My family is happy. In fact, that is so loud, the noise of the air running across that horrible stamped grill, okay, for the return, that for the last, I think it's 8 years we've been here. For the last 8 years, my family, and myself included, have gotten so used to that sound that we cannot sleep without forcing the fan to run all night. So we actually click the fan on button on the thermostat and we run that all night long because that drowns out and puts us to sleep. It's kind of funny because Saturday mornings, if I wake up early and I turn off the fan like that, my entire family wakes up because we've all gotten used to it. So I've been kind of prepping my family and letting them know that some big changes are coming. And with those changes, we're going to probably have to do some white noise generators or something because they're no longer going to hear that when we're done replacing this system. I have not decided what type of system I'm installing. I have not decided if I'm going to do central return. I have not decided if I'm going to put returns in every bedroom. If I'm going to keep the, which I'm very likely going to end up going to a heat pump more than likely. So am I going to keep the fan coil in this utility closet or am I going to move it into my attic, which is rather large? There's lots of variables at play. If I move it into my attic, well, the insulation on that fan coil is not very high. So we're going to lose or gain a lot of heat infiltration through the air handler fan coil unit. So there's lots of variables that go into play here. And I'm going to be making some decisions, some evaluations, okay? So back to my system. I have comfort complaints. My family does not. Now, let me also tell you that during the summer, I have extremely high electric bills, okay? I installed this Ecobee thermostat at the recommend of my buddy Adam, okay? Adam's from the HVAC Overtime show with myself, Joe, Bill. We all do that show on Friday nights. And if you haven't checked it out, go to YouTube and look up HVAC Overtime. Caution, though. It's very uncensored, and it's like a bunch of dudes at the bar on Friday night. We don't hold back about the stuff we talk about. Sometimes there's a little bit of air conditioning talk, but majority of the time, there's a whole lot of other talk and not very much air conditioning talk, okay? But anyways, I went to the Ecobee thermostat at the recommendation of my buddy Adam, and actually several other people recommended it to me too. I like it. I really like the information you can gather. You can see graphs, run times, and all that different stuff. So it is now August 20th of 2022, and I've had this Ecobee thermostat installed since August 1st. So the idea was that I would get an entire month's runtime at design temps, typically in August, so that way we can kind of see and be able to kind of do a backwards load calculation. The idea is we can look at the runtime and we can see if it's maintaining the temperatures, which it does, how long does it have to run for to get to those temperatures, and you can kind of do a backwards load calculation on the house. Now, that's not the only way. We're going to do a proper load calculation, but it's just kind of ways to verify whether or not the idea that my system is oversized is actually true, okay? Now, I also installed an energy monitor, an Emporia energy monitor, at the recommendation of several people, and I figured I'd try it, okay? So another thing that I have is I have the run times and the usage data from the Ecobee, and then now I have my energy consumption from the Emporia energy monitor, so that way I can kind of look at some things. And it's really cool data to have, okay? So let's kind of walk through the house. It's just a normal house, nothing fancy. Forgive, it's not the cleanest house in the world. My wife's probably going to be upset with me because I didn't really clean up very much, okay? But we just have a normal house, vaulted ceilings, which I absolutely hate, okay? I suspect that these vaulted ceilings and these can lights especially are going to have high infiltration or leakage rates to the attic, okay? I have an open vented attic. This part of the house right here, this is kind of like a fake vault, right? I can actually get above it. I wouldn't call it fake, but I can actually get above it. And then over the master bedroom, we actually have a true vault that you can't even get into, okay? So those are all things that we have to consider. So a couple things that we have in the house that we probably shouldn't do, but it's very convenient, is when we moved in, there's a converted garage, okay? This kind of became a craft room, hangout room. We have a bed in here in case someone wants to stay the night, that kind of stuff. But it's insulated, right? But there is no insulation on the ceiling, none up there. But there is insulation in the walls, okay? We do have an insulated garage door, but it's typically a lot hotter in here, right? We do not have an insulated door right here, which goes into the main garage, which is extremely hot, okay? So these are all things that we probably shouldn't be doing. This probably has a good part of why my energy usage is so high. It's because we leave this door open almost all the time. Luke is so curious as to what I'm doing. Huh, bud? Huh. So my family's not home right now, so we can kind of walk around. So we have hardwood floors throughout the house. Don't really like them very much. We have a lot of things that we want to do to this house. We've been wanting to upgrade, but the HVAC system is going to be the first real thing. Actually, I just redid my front yard and got rid of the grass and stuff, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, we have a wood-burning fireplace that does have just a standard damper in it, okay? That damper, I imagine, is not very leak-proof, okay? So these are all things that we're going to evaluate. We are going to be doing a blower door test on the house, so those are things we're going to look into. There's also little things around the house, so kitchen's right here. The windows in the house have already been completely upgraded to double-pane windows, you know, all that fancy stuff. They are very good windows. They are very nice, and they seem to do a really good job of keeping the heat out. All right, so sliding glass door, nothing too fancy, just a normal house, right? There's some weird little cavities up in here. Those basically are just places to collect dust. Same thing with this. I find that to be silly. You know, if I was to ever build a house, I wouldn't build anything like that because it's just full of dust up there. It's kind of silly, right? So, you know, just standard 1990s stamped grills. The house was built in 91, I think. So 1990s stamped grills, nothing too fancy. You see one in the kitchen right there, okay? So let's go ahead and walk over here. This is just a closet. That's the front of the house over there. We have like shutters on majority of the windows in the house. You can see there's another grill right there. So walking down the hallway, master bedroom, there's some big problems here. First off, I'm going to tell you right now that we have a doggy door insert, and that doggy door insert is a single pane, and I can stand next to there, stand in front of the doggy door insert right there, and it's hot, move over 6 inches to the actual sliding glass door, and it's cool, okay? So there's some massive infiltration coming in through that doggy door. Forgive the nose marks from this little guy right here, because he likes to stand outside the door even though he has a doggy door and rub his nose on it, okay? So again, ceiling fans in all the rooms. Now I'm going to show you guys something funny. So when we moved into the house, I was actually drilling, because we used to have a TV up on that. Stupid idea, by the way, because it's really awkward to lay in bed and look up. You think it'd be good, but it's not, okay? But anyways, I was running an HDMI cable to that, and I was up in the attic drilling down through the wall using one of those 6 foot, 4 foot, whatever, really, really long drill bits, drilling through the studs in the wall to run the HDMI cable, and I thought I did it, and I didn't. And look at that. So that was like 8 years ago. I drilled that hole. So if we look right in here, can actually see where the auger bit went down and then started to come out and it drilled out. And then me and my brilliance thought, well, you know what, it'll be easier to patch a hole if I just cut a square. So I cut the square out and told my wife, yeah, I'll patch it because I've done drywall work. I'll patch it and we'll get it done. It's been 8 years and we've had a hole right there. And let me show you, my wife just recently came up with a solution for that hole. So I came home one day and there's this picture. This was just recently because she has her exercise bike right here. And this picture's just hanging right there, and that made me laugh because she just didn't want to look at the hole. But regardless, I mean, there's little things about the house, you know, there's I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy, maybe I'm not normal, but I think that's pretty normal to have little flaws around the house. And I wanted, you know, I wanted to make sure, like, for instance, look right here, we've got a hole from someone hitting the door. That was actually there when we moved in too. I said I would fix it, I never did. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there's little things, cosmetic things that I have going on in the house that I thought, you know, I'll get to it. And I have a strong feeling that those lead to a lot of my comfort issues within the house. Couple things, and again, we're gonna hit thermal imaging cameras and all that stuff, but if you look in here, we have a single pane window in a bathroom. That thing is, you could feel the heat coming through there too. If I shut this door right here and leave it shut, you can come in and it's like 90 degrees in this bathroom. And the rest of the house can be like 70 because there's massive infiltration, okay? So it's just a normal house, little things here and there. So I'm really curious to see what the house is gonna look like. It's one of my kids' messy rooms, but you know, I mean, just a normal room, can lights in every room. So I have a feeling those are gonna be problematic. Can lights all in this room too, okay? And then you have a major problem room, and this is my office, okay? So this is where I record live streams and edit videos and different things like that. So first off, again, can lights all in here. And then you have this monstrosity of this computer right here that I have. This is a giant editing computer and I stream from it. This is my setup. So I've done some calculations using the Emporia energy monitor, and between this computer, I have a UPS device back here that backs things up in case the power goes out, all the different electronics, I'm adding 2,000 BTUs of heat to this room. So my office really struggles, especially when I shut the door if I'm recording or doing a live stream. It's really difficult because it gets so dang hot in this room, okay? Also on the other side of my office right here is just another sliding glass door. Again, double pane sliding glass door. So this, I'm not too, surprisingly, the majority of the heat doesn't feel like it necessarily comes from the windows. The windows seem to do a great job, but these are all things that we need to take into account. This monstrosity of a computer, it adds a lot of heat to the house. So with that being said, let's go ahead and probe up on my HVAC system and kind of have a test in look to it and kind of see how it's operating and how it's maintaining the temperatures. So my outdoor condensing unit is located here. Again, this unit's from about 2005, 2006-ish. You could tell that it's been moved because there's an electrical box right there that looks like it used to be a disconnect. Honestly, I don't think I've ever opened that up, but I bet you it's hardwired in there. And then it runs over here, and then there's a new disconnect switch right here, okay? So it looks like maybe, judging by the looks of it, there's a dryer vent right there, so probably clogged up the condenser all the time and, you know, probably was moved then. But unit comes out right here, right? It's functional, it works. Again, it's ran good. The only issues is capacitors. I've changed capacitors, put a hard start on it. All right, so let's have a look at the performance of the equipment, okay? So what we have here is an R22 system. Let's scroll over. It's not horrible looking as far as operation goes. Again, everything's, you know, kind of decent. Let's scroll over. Outdoor air temperature is a little bit low. I thought it would be well over 100. I guess it was today, but it's 93 right now, so that's not too bad. I don't have a discharge line temp on there because I don't really need that right now. Temperature differentials. Okay, I'm sorry, temperatures using the psychrometers. We have about a 21 degree temperature split. One thing that I really do like, I'm using the Measure Quick software, is it tells you what your target actually is. The calculated target for the indoor conditions, forgive my camera that's not focusing. So there you go. The calculated target for the indoor conditions is 22.6 degrees. It tells you right there. So my current value is 21.7. The calculated target is 22.6. Again, first part of my career, I was always taught to aim for 20-degree TD, temperature differential between return and supply, right? That's not always necessary though, right? It depends on the conditions in the building, right? So I like Measure Quick for that factor. Right now we have an estimated airflow of 1456-ish, 65. That's using a proprietary calculation within there. You can see that we really don't know what humidity is. We barely have any latent load. Most of it's sensible. My unit's currently running at about 10 SEER. I just had hooked up the SUPCO meter and got energy numbers basically, so that way we can calculate the EER, the SEER, total external static pressure. Okay, I told you we were running high static on my unit, 0.91. Now imagine if I change that filter, it'll go down a little bit, but I don't think it's going to go down that much. Okay, relative humidity. So that is my existing system, and we are going to replace it. So I have a lot of decisions to make. Please excuse my compressor boneyard. This is where I'm always cutting up compressors. You can see my sacrificial tables right here. Compressor oil usually gets on those and I clean it all up. Those are just sacrificial compressors. So we have to make some decisions. What kind of a system do I want to go to? I'm kind of thinking heat pump, right? We really don't have a heat load. My design temperature is about 37 degrees in the winter. My design temperature in the summer is about 97 degrees. We definitely have hit 120 before, but it's only on like 1 or 2 days of the year. Normally we're 97 to 100-ish. Okay, my condenser is also a little bit dirty, not too bad, but to me it's just time. It's time to replace this equipment. I want to get something more efficient. I want to get the best bang for my buck. I kind of want to go crazy with this. I kind of want to go like all fancy with an inverter system. I know there's going to be 50-50 split down the middle. Some people are going to say go simple, some people are going to go extreme. I kind of want to find a little bit more towards the extreme side. I want to do something fun. I'm open to ideas. I really would like to hear feedback on what people think I should do here, okay? I've contemplated, there's been all kinds of ideas because I've been already talking about this project, right? I've contemplated putting a ducted mini split in my office, right? Just as supplemental, and then size the entire house with whatever we come up with the load calculation, right? Because this existing unit's a 4-ton, I think it's oversized. So when we do the load calculation, I've contemplated sizing the house as if I didn't have an office with 2,000 BTUs of heat from a computer system, right? And then just adding a supplemental ducted mini split. Now I don't want to do a wall hung mini split because I don't like those. I'd rather do ducted, put it in the attic or something. So that's a thought. I've thought about conditioning my attic. I'm sorry, encapsulating my attic, doing spray foam. Again, I haven't gotten quotes or anything like that, but I've thought about it. Doing spray foam, encapsulating the attic, moving the air handler or in the fan coil or whatever you want to call it up into the attic where, it won't be as hot if we encapsulate it. But you can see that I do have a vented attic. That's one of the vents. We have another vent on the other side of the house. This is my chimney going up. So we have lots of things to consider, but before I just throw an air conditioner at this, right, we're gonna take the whole house approach as best as I can within reason, right? I've got blower door coming. I've got duct blasters coming. I've got flow hoods coming, being shipped at this moment as we speak. So we're gonna evaluate the house as best as possible. I'm even probably gonna be having some help coming out to help me evaluate the load, to help me do the home evaluation on it. So I have lots of friends in high places that definitely want to help with the project. So let's see. But again, I need your suggestions. Do you guys have feedback? Do you have advice? Let me know, okay? Because I'm kind of lost. I've been doing a lot of research, reading about the building science stuff, and I realize too, understand something, everybody. I'm not perfect. I know nothing about building science besides the just basic general ideas that we don't want hot air coming in the house, okay? So some things that I do want with your suggestions you to consider. Number one, I definitely want to go with an inverter system, okay? I definitely am leaning towards a heat pump. I want fresh air in my house, lots of fresh air, filtered fresh air. I want to go crazy with filtration. I've even thought about, and again, I've heard good and bad, I've thought about like integrating a Honeywell J8 economizer control into it and taking these, if I did encapsulate the attic, and taking these and using those vents as my fresh air and ducting them. and bringing fresh, filtered, clean air into the house. These are all things that I'm thinking of. It may not be practical. Let me know the holes in it. If you guys have advice or things that you think would be cool to see, let me know. If you guys know manufacturers that make a cool product that you'd like to get me in contact with, let me know. I'm down to talk to anybody. I want to know what's out there. I want to know the technology. I come from the light commercial refrigeration side, okay? I can fix my air conditioner. I have an understanding. I know I can do it, but I'm not a genius about it. I don't know all the cool tricks and the neat stuff. So let me know. Let me know your feedback. Stay tuned. We have lots of cool content. We're going to make a series out of this, and I think it'd be fun. All right? I really appreciate you. And leave me some feedback down in the comments. Shoot me an email, hvacrvideos@gmail.com, if you have some feedback, if you want to do it that way, or you can do it in the comments. I really appreciate you all. And stay tuned, because there'll be lots more videos with this series coming soon.